Well, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon if you're in the UK. Real special privilege to be with you all today. We've got a great program for you. We've got special guest Ursula Dowd and Dr. Gary Lindner as well joining us from California. I'm hoping and I'm confident that that each of you that are on the call today saw the teaser that we gave and sent out just the other week. It's had a good number of views already, where Ursula gave us a sneak preview of what she's going to be talking about today, and how it and how certain things like using our mobile phones can affect the energy levels in our body. Ursula has been with Nikken really not that long. She's fairly new with Nikken, but has a very rich background in corporate communication. She's traveled all over the world. She's been worked for many years in the UK, of course, where she's from, but also in Greece and Spain and Canada. She's gotten involved also outside of the corporate communications world in natural therapies and in healing and what have you. And her this combination of interests and expertise, coupled with some technology that she came across that she'll be talking about today, really gives us a special treat. Dr. Gary Lindner, of course, everyone on the call knows him very well. One of our favorite and beloved doctors here in the Nikken world, a physiologist by profession, an entrepreneur by profession. He's run a number of very significantly sized companies of his own. He's been with Nikken for many years and has got a great track record of success, a great example of leadership in our business, and he's going to be participating along with us today. So we've got a great lineup. And of course, it's me here, Ben Woodward, masquerading as Dave Johnson today on the us here. So great to be with you all today.
I'm going to remember, that's a great way. I'm masquerading as Dave Johnson.
Yeah, and he's a good one to masquerade as. He's a pretty cool one. So, but Ursula, before we jump into your presentation, tell us first of all a little bit about the technology that you're going to be walking us through with today. How did you come across it? Well, what is it? What does it do?
Well, basically, strange enough, I was in Canada, and I was attending an event, and there was a lady there actually from California. So California keeps on coming up here. But in fact, the equipment's from Germany, and we know how, the Germans are very much attention to detail. And this equipment is basically a biofeedback tool. So it looks at changes in the energy fields. And obviously, it's like, for me, it was like, the more I got into it, you can look at things like the brain parameters, you look at the organs, which we'll go through briefly so you can get some understanding. But also when the body comes into contact, be it with homeopathic remedies, particular drugs, you can actually see if the body works positively or negatively with those products. So I went on a kind of a real long journey, various different people for different combinations. And in fact, 18 months ago, I wasn't looking for Nikken. Nikken came looking for me. Yeah. And I had a rogue phone call one day saying, would I be interested? And having looked at many other different therapies, it was a question mark. But in fact, on that, I arranged to go and see a couple of the products. And a young lady, Lucy in Southampton, introduced me first to just a power band bracelet. And that particular morning, me and caffeine don't go very well together, so you could see the difference. My energy was in quite a disturbed state. And literally, we put the power band on, and after 1 minute, we watched as, instead of actually in very jagged energy lines, we watched as my energy actually calmed down. And Lucy behind me went, wow. And I went, wow. And that's my journey, how it started with Nikken.
Yeah, excellent. Well, you've got a wonderful presentation to share with us today. So do you want a second just to pull that up so you can share your screen and show everyone else? Because you've got some great visuals here as well. And just while Ursula's doing that, but what I would like everyone to know, Gary, as Ursula's sharing her presentation, of course, any insights that you've got, Dr. Lindner, please, of course, jump in and share some of your thoughts and perspective as well. That would be much appreciated. So, okay.
Thank you, Ben. I will.
Yeah, thank you. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pass the time over to Ursula who will be able to walk us through these wonderful findings. And critical to this as well, just by way of interjection before we do get going, what Ursula is sharing here is a real powerful visual example of how these technologies that Nikken has exclusive access to, how they affect the body. Now, we want to highlight, of course, this is a independent Nikken consultant presentation. Any treatment, any comments that we share today are not designed to treat, prevent, or cure disease. We want to lay that out straight away. But it is insightful to see, nonetheless, the impact of our technologies on the body. And also, Ursula will share perhaps just a couple of tips of how she uses this information when she doesn't have a machine, because I think hot on everyone's minds is, this is great, but how can I use this to my advantage when I'm talking to a prospective customer or business partner? So we'll also discuss that, just so that you're aware. So Ursula, over to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Ben. One of the things, actually, I'd be very interested to know how many people were actually out with us in San Antonio last year, and how many are proposing to be there this year. Be very interested, because obviously some of this data will be reinforcing what you saw there. So to start, basically, we have an energy field connected to the magnetic earth. We're all well aware of that. That's why we work with magnetic technology to restore. So the BioPulsar looks at what happens when the Nikken technologies come into contact with the body. Now, so I hope most of you will be able to see some of this detail. In the middle, you see a graph. And in that graph, you've got all the brain parameters across the top. You've got organs, you've got skeletal points. And so you can understand what each of those little boxes mean. The green line is where we should be. So if it goes beneath that, it's very low energy. If it's above that, it's a very high, stressful energy. So in a perfect world, we should all be this beautiful one color. And it often happens in between, someone has a massage or reflexology, various other components, but it helps calm the body down. And those lines are dead straight. That's what we should have. So in reality, we're not. And I would say almost every single person has some form, not quite probably as bad as this one, as this. So very jagged lines, and energy can't withhold. Now, one of the key things is, in those boxes, the green line equates to the green-blue color. So that's the perfect color. If you go beneath that, we've got the gray, the red, orange, and the yellow. They're low energies. If you go above that, we've got obviously green, blue in the middle, indigo, violet, pink, and white, which is the top stress one. So if you look in that brain area, we've got a lot of the high energies. So the indigo, the pinks, the magentas. And if you look across the top of the graph, they're all jagged right near the top. That's a high stress scenario. And because of that, it sends the body into stress, because obviously all the energy is fighting with your brain. So that drains out the base of the body. So it's very yellow in the body, and the grey, the two squiggles running down the side, that's your spine. There's no energy in the spine. Now, this, I can tell you, was because I had a trauma. So I can share this because I can absolutely give you the detail, and I'm willing to answer any questions on it afterwards. I thought on this particular day I was going to have a heart attack. And this was probably about March last year, about 2 months into Nikken. And I was desperately thinking, what on earth can I do to calm down? And I grabbed the Kenko seeds and I wrapped it around me. And I mean, I was in terror, and wrapped it around me. And literally, after about an hour, I could feel my heart rate calming down. And this is what happened. So literally, after 1 hour, most of the lines are literally running near the green. So that transmutes into the green, yellow, on the color one on the left-hand side. So that's after 1 hour of having this product wrapped around me. So then you have to ask lots of further questions going, how is this all possible? What is happening? I had many, many questions and so many things that I still can't answer the question. But, so this was one piece of the puzzle. Now, the other component piece for me was the water, because whenever I see people, people come to me for a one-on-one, 95% of all people are dehydrated. It's a shocking reality in some form or another. So this is a typical example. Now, the equipment I use is a hand plate, which has lots of electrodes. It's picking up pulse points in the hands, a bit like reflexology. Now, the problem is when you get dehydrated, the skin goes tough. So the electrodes can't break through. So that's why we all plaster ourselves with different creams, but obviously we now know the 3 elements, and we'll come to that one in a minute. So this is like the dreaded. And I see people that are 100% grey. There's no contact points. Yeah, you see them, the cracked lips, and you know they're not getting. And you ask them, are you drinking water? No, I'm not. I had a lady yesterday. Oh, I know I'm supposed to. I teach and I get a sore throat, but I don't. I said, well, look what you're doing. And she was worse than this one. So the problem then for me was I've got somebody that's paying me for a consultancy. So what do I do with it? So I used to have an ECG cream. So it basically moistens the hand so I could get a reading. I started using Pymag, and everyone starts, I'm learning about, it's not just about ingestion, but it's about the body coming into contact with the products, and what does that mean? So I started to think, well, okay, what would happen if I actually wash somebody's hands in Pymag water? Would that make a difference? 2 minutes after washing their hands, this same person, we got a full analysis. That meant the actual skin absorbed the water, softened it enough that I could get an analysis that day. That blew me away, because that really then impacted the Pymag shower. But in addition, in fact, I've had a couple of examples where it's been so bad, they've literally been that bad, so dehydrated, the skin is like almost like builder's hands, but these are women's hands. I've actually gone the other way. If I couldn't get the Pymag to work, I actually got 2 elements. Bring it on. We have a solution, and it doesn't affect the reading at all. So I thought I'd share this one, because this is actually another lady who's got a BioPulsar and now working with Nikken. And she had a 70-year-old lady with type 2 diabetes and peripheral neuropathy in both feet. And I work a lot with diabetes, and in fact, we're actually about to start a trial here with the NHS, National Health Service, a fully funded clinical trial like Dr. Warren Trump's in 2003. So we're super excited. But we've got it because of all the results we've been having here. On the left, so you can get an idea of what's going on. The reading is before they got put in contact with the insoles and the seat. As you can see around the feet, it's a really murky, horrible orange. That's a really low energy, no circulation in the feet whatsoever. After 1 hour, the green, so remember what I was saying, grey, red, orange, yellow, perfect energy, green, blue. She got feeling, and she could see it in the BioPulsar. So she had double confirmations. Super excited. Now the other one, and people keep on saying, can we have more tests on the sleep system? Well, I had somebody else saying, can you do the Kenko seat with the mobile? If you saw the excerpt we did the other day, the little test we did the other day. The shocking, we did that based on the strength test, where you put your arm out to the side and you push down strong. You hold the mobile to your heart, and there's no strength. We have to explore this in more detail. So I've already had people start to say to me, how about, can you do a couple of tests with the computers in front of you, sitting on a Kenko seat, or without? What would impact with that? And obviously, exactly as Ben said, these are not clinical trials, but they're shocking enough detail that actually I do use them when I go out for presentations. I do not take the BioPulsar because it confuses, and people then want analysis and all sorts of things. But to use the image and just gives them key detail. So for instance, this one, again, I refer back, unfortunately, trauma-based, and it's mine, so I know it very well. Haven't been back here for a long time though, which is great. And if you can see in the head area, I mentioned the white stress energy. The whole head is in total stress. Lack of sleep for about 7 or 8 months. And if you can see in the brain parameters along the top, how they're almost along, literally right up on the ceiling. It couldn't have been worse. So because of that, all the energy is being withdrawn from the body. So I couldn't probably afford my sleep system right at the beginning. Yeah, much as everyone said, so I used my Kenko seat. But then my sleep system arrived. So I'm sure you've all been there and you're going, can I go to sleep? I want to go try. Yep. I put the hours down. And bear in mind, no sleep. Very interrupted 7, 8 months. So I kind of went to bed at 7, a bit early. I woke up once. And the following morning, I believed I'd won the lottery. Because nobody but nobody can tell you what it feels like to have an amazing night's sleep. Well, I'm sure some of you can. But to actually get that message across to somebody is really, really tough. How can you explain that one? And so for me, it was like, having had no sleep, the difference from one to another. So it was like, wow. So I was super excited. It was like, I felt fantastic. I thought, I have to go try. I want to see what it looks like. And you go, wow, oh my goodness. And I still, the day I looked at this, I went, wow, this is amazing. Seriously amazing. It's basically calmed my energy right down. We've almost got straight lines running across. That's exactly how I felt. What a difference from the day before. You can't, to say to someone, your productivity goes up. I know this is all kind of, yeah, it's not clinical data, but let's work on it and get it to the point where it is. And for me, this is like, we have something so amazing. And this is that day. Now, if I go back to that first slide, how near is that? 1, 2, and that was just after one night. It just gets better and better. So going back, Ben mentioned earlier, it's like, for you, how do you use this? It's like, hopefully now you've got the recording, you can make more sense. I know it was very hard when we kind of first delivered it in San Antonio, because there were so many questions. But now you've got it on recording, you can use this. But also, when I do a presentation, I use the videos that we have. I think they're great tools. We've got a presentation, but I interject with some of these images, the before and after. And on many, many occasions, when people see the sleep system result, they buy. Not because we're guaranteeing. I always give them that pre-qualifier. So it might not for you, but this is what it did for me. And it gives you a huge opening. But you don't need the equipment. So it's duplicatable, which is the most important thing. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, Ursula, I mean, that's fantastic. So with what you've said here, I mean, the thing that kind of blows my mind is the effect that it had on you after a proper night's sleep with the Nikken sleep system.
It's amazing. I've never had anything that instantly, and now I share it. You have to share it, because it is very difficult to get that message across to someone. I totally get it. How many times do you sit in front of it, well, what's it going to do for me? Well, lie on it. Take it out to a show and let someone to lie on it for 10, 15 minutes. They'll feel it.
Yeah. So let's just kind of go back again a little bit. So as someone that's maybe new, I always like to put myself in the position of a new person. And I know there's some people from my team that have joined the call today that are fairly new in Nikken that are watching, and they like to participate in these calls.
Sure.
So, again, I just want to kind of go back to this point, and you might need to repeat yourself again if that's okay, but it's
No problem.
tough to repeat. Not having this technology to hand, again, walk through, if you were brand new, or if you had someone brand new in your team, what would you say to them to help them use this information in order to encourage someone to buy a sleep system, for example?
Okay. So if we go back up, so we've got two key slides here. These are the two you need. So you take those two slides, put them into your PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And this is basically an overview. So I basically explain to someone, this is the equipment. It's just going to show you your energetic fields. This is a pure example. And if you take a look at all the key things here are, if you look at the graph, all the lines are jagged. That is someone in extreme distress.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the reason for that is because the white high energy over the head area, when someone's in distress or in massive stress, it basically takes the energy from the body. So one of the things I really work with is, how stress, emotions affect your physical body.
Yeah.
The two are so connected, okay?
Yeah.
So you can actually chop the third image off, because it becomes more complicated. Take the two in the middle, because the graph in the middle directly is then transmuted into color. So it's very easy to see. High energy up in the head, low energy in the body.
Yeah.
Not functioning at all.
Yeah.
You go then and basically go, right, after one night's sleep,
Look at the difference.
look at the difference. Look what's happened. The whole body has calmed down. We're just literally right on the lines. They're all straight. Almost all of them are on the green line.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a very calm state.
Yeah.
In fact, if you use the third slide and refer back to this one where we should all be, how close has the sleep system got us to?
Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible.
So Ursula, this was your own readings on yourself?
Absolutely, because I can't share data.
So you weren't sleeping well.
Nope.
I just want to clarify this for the viewers.
Yep.
And you took a reading on yourself. You slept an evening on the sleep system, and this is the result that you saw personally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Incredible. Awesome. Sleep matters.
Yeah, it does. Now, Ursula, we've had a couple of questions come through, and one is, can we get the images from these slides into people's hands so that they can use them, either in a PowerPoint form, or I guess that's perhaps the easiest way, where they can then kind of use them to do what you've just suggested. Is there a way that we can do that, or share some of these slides with people?
What is the easiest way to get these? I'm happy to share them. I can share the PowerPoint, and I can also share the individual images so they can embed them in their own PowerPoint. Yeah. It's just where do you want me to put? What if I give them to you, Ben, as a in Dropbox or something, and you can share a Dropbox file out? Yeah,
that sounds good. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are wanting to use the slides and the images, Ursula will email them to me. What I'll do is I'll get them over to Dave Johnson, because he's got a much wider reach than I have with the field. Perhaps we can get them on the Magnetic Leaders website so that people can download them from there and have access to them by going onto that site. So we'll get them onto that site, and I'm sure Mike will want to get them up on the Royal Alliance site as well, because I know this will be really helpful to get into as many people's hands as possible. So thank you. Okay. Before we conclude, are there any other questions that any people might want to ask Ursula? You can raise your hand. There's the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen, or the chat section, whichever one you choose. But if you want to ask a question, then by all means. I can see Phil Hansen has raised a hand here. So let me see, Phil. Let me see. Do you want to just ask your question here via the chat, Phil, and we'll get that going away. We've got David Jones has just asked a question. He's just said, I saw this when Ursula shared it in San Antonio a year ago. but it's just as powerful and amazing to see it again. Thank you very much, Ursula. So that's from David Jones. So excellent. So yeah, Phil, if you can ask that question.
So one other point, if I can jump in here for a minute, Ben, if one of the first points you made, Ursula, was about dehydration. Yeah. And it's and you really can't get a reading there because there's probably no conductivity going on. No. But again, that's a huge problem for society, for individuals. You know, as you said, 95% of the people you see are dehydrated or chronically dehydrated. The figures that we present in the self-care series represent 75% of people walk around daily chronically dehydrated, which would result in many different inefficiencies physiologically, which would probably lead to many different types of health issues. So, you know, I find it interesting that even with probably some slight dehydration, your BioPulsar machine won't even take a reading. It won't, you know, so yeah.
Yeah,
it's really shocking. People really don't accept that they have a problem. I mean, the times that I'll ask you know, do you drink water? And the ones that will go no. There's a high percentage here that will go, yes, I do. Oh, really? What is it? Tap water. And they just don't get getting the nourishment and hydration.
And this is what I love really about the whole Nikken philosophy that is integrated so deeply and profoundly into our product range. Now, when we talk about wellness, there are so many companies out there that do talk about wellness, but they do it in the context of perhaps exclusively nutrition or exercise, for example. But what they don't consider so much are, the one singular activity that every human being does more than anything else in their life, and that is sleep. They discount that. And, you know, and the other thing, of course, which is also significantly taken for granted, is hydration. And again, getting back to the cellular level of our bodies and how much water is needed. Good water, alkaline water, clean water, toxin-free water, chemical-free water. You know, that is so essential, and yet again taken for granted. And Nikken integrates that in a very beautiful, holistic approach to well-being. Great sleep, strong hydration, good nutrition, all play a critical part in the way that they come together. I've got a couple more questions, if that's all right, Ursula, that have come in. If I can ask, just really quickly. So one was, this is from Annabelle. She says, what part of the sleep system were you using? Was it the whole system or only the pillow?
Oh, the whole system. No, I've got a mattress topper, everything. So. Okay,
excellent. So we've got another couple of questions here. So is the whole system, the mattress topper, the duvet, the pillow? We're also being asked here, was the sleep picture done before sleep or upon waking from normal sleep on a regular bed? So your before shot, your first shot, when was that taken? Was that after a night's sleep on a normal bed or beforehand?
Yeah, it was basically taken after a normal, it was literally the day that my sleep system was due to come in. So I took the analysis then, and then obviously went to sleep and took the one the following day. So I had it back to back.
Okay, excellent, excellent. A couple more questions, if that's all right, Ursula. These are coming in thick and fast. It shows the enthusiasm of the group here. So Brenna's asking, could you please share the screenshot with the data of waking up after a sleep, but without the sleep system? Can you please just show that again for them? He said he's trying to separate the natural restoration results of the body from the one that Nikken adds.
Okay.
If you could share the before picture, that would be great.
Okay, so basically, you've got, this is the one prior. This is the day the sleep system arrived. So get up, this is what you see.
Yeah.
And you can see there's the body's in distress, it's tired. Yeah, that's why you've got very low energy in the body. And then you've got the high energy up in the head. So, and then after the sleep system, the following day, the following morning, the body's completely calm, basically almost back to that natural state.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost at the perfect level, isn't it? That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay, so Stanley Bogus is asking, what is the name of the instrument and can it be purchased in the USA?
It's called a BioPulsar reflexograph. You can go on to my actual website, ursuladowd.com, and you can see loads of info on the BioPulsar. And yes, you can buy it, I believe, in Canada, actually in Vancouver. So.
Okay. Excellent. So here's something else that Julie Clark has asked. Have you tried to do a before and after images with the cocoon, with the Nikken cocoon?
No, I haven't. And this is actually one of the things I was going to put out there is, what would people like to see? And I'll put together a schedule and we'll put together some, more tests over the coming weeks so that we can share that with you.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, sorry, Brenna's asking one last question. Can you please show the image after the sleeping, but without the Nikken sleep system? Does that make sense?
That was the day, so that was after sleep.
Yeah.
As the day that the sleep system arrived.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the pre one.
Yeah.
And that's with the Nikken sleep system.
Yeah.
So that's without the Nikken sleep system.
Yeah.
That's with the Nikken sleep system.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've used our time up. We don't want it to go on for too long. You've got a beautiful day ahead of you this glorious Saturday morning, or a beautiful evening ahead if you're on the other side of the world here in the UK. Thank you so much, Ursula, for doing this, for what you've done today. Really, really fascinating. We've had great feedback from people joining in. Lots of people jumping in here saying thank you, and of course anxious to get behind so they can share them too. But I just want to say thank you to everyone that's participated today. Again, make the most of these tools. The reason that we record them is not so you can watch them later, though we want you to, of course. It's so that you can share them with other people as well. And I think this is really important. We've got the opportunity here in Nikken to have our own business, but we don't always need to be the smartest person in the room, which means we've got a great resource around us with the likes of Ursula and Dr. Lindner here, that all are sharing their knowledge and their experience for us to use with them, with the people that we know. And that's a great way to build our business. Third-party validation is excellent, and we want you to make the most of this. So thank you all for sharing, for participating, being with us on this call. And again, please share this with your friends, with your potential customers. This really shows them just the real power of our technologies, and just how important it is to get that great energy level, to get what we're always talking about in Nikken, which is balance. Balance in our lives, balance in our roles that we play, balance in the energy levels and the physiology of our body so that we can be happy, joyful, and well. And that's what we want. So thank you, Dr. Lindner. Thank you, Ursula Dowd. It's been a pleasure being on the call with you today. Everyone have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you both.